Hey Aquarius, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Before we get started with it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. Okay, I'm seeing an interesting mix of energy here. We're starting off with the Nine of Cups. Thinking about what you want, needing to make a decision about what you want. To have the Nine of Cups here, this is more than just what you want on a surface level. This is like in a more eternal way, even thinking about what you want, rather than something that's going to be like fleeting happiness, we can say. Is about thinking about something more long-term or something even deeper. Because Nine of Cups isn't just like on a whim wanting something and then the feeling's going to go away quickly, or you just want it impulsively. Nine of Cups is like, what am I really searching for? Like, what am I really looking for? Like, what is that like deeper craving or feeling or desire to connect that I'm feeling? And like, what's that going to be for me? And it looks like there may be a choice that needs to be made that's connected with this, but I'm not seeing it be an easy call. I'm not seeing it be an easy choice. This can mean too that you already know like what this is, but for some reason it may be a hard call to make or a hard decision to make, meaning if this were happening in a vacuum, it may be a much easier time for you to make this choice, but nothing happens in a vacuum, and so things may be complicated. But the way that we're starting off with this, I feel like you already know what this thing is for you. But other factors may have you feeling like it's not as simple as that, is the feeling. I'm seeing a relationship or two being involved in this. For some of you, there's going to be like a relationship or even a marriage that will be affected by this, or something that you've been a part of or involved in, or sort of like contracted to be doing, whether this be in a literal sense, metaphysical sense. Let's just use an example. For some of you, there may be something that you want and it's going to affect the marriage that you're in. It's going to mean a change to a relationship. It's going to mean a change to a living situation. It could mean a change to a financial situation. You can know that you want a different career path, and this job that you'd been committed to is going to go through some changes because you might be wanting to find yourself elsewhere. Or you have found your heart elsewhere, and that's what you want to follow here. For many of you, it does look like it's a relationship with another person that would be affected by this. It does feel like change is inevitable, but there can be a part of you that's like, I know that I want this thing, but you may stay doing what you've been doing, even though you may know that it's not really like resonating with you any longer on an emotional level. I also think too that situations aren't just black and white. Like there may be, maybe on an emotional level, you don't feel fulfilled within a connection, or maybe sometimes you do, but most of the time you don't, or you know that your heart wants to connect with something else or someone else, or again, like a different job, something like that, or you just, this isn't really the thing for you anymore, and you can know that. Because it feels like, Nine of Cups feels like you found something where you're like, oh wow, that's really speaking to me. But you know that if you chose to pursue this, which I'm not seeing this be a surface level thing, I'm not seeing this be a material thing, this is something like on a deeper level you feel connected with. So this isn't just like a wandering eye within a relationship. I'm seeing this be something that genuinely, like, you know, on a deep level within your heart that you're connected with this thing. However, because things aren't just black and white, this may, if you were to pursue this or go after it, it may affect a relationship. And for some of you, you're like, I'd rather sacrifice having that fulfillment and stay in something that feels stable to me or feels like a sure thing to me, or I don't have to worry about my finances, you know, stuff like that. Because with the Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck, it feels like, you know, something is, it's like there's a stronger call that your heart is hearing, but because of the way that it would affect a relationship of yours that you feel a sense of stability in, like in one way or another, you may not be open to the changes. Like you may be, ultimately it may be that like fear is motivating you here, but something's going to motivate us. We just get to choose sort of like what rhythm we want to follow. It does seem like, well, I guess nothing. I'm trying to see this from like the most zoomed out perspective possible. You just may not be ready for this type of change. So you can know that like something else is sort of becoming your emotional truth and this thing isn't really any longer, but maybe you're not willing to give it up or willing to have it change. And there's nothing wrong with that. That just, it is what it is. You are willing for it to change. You're not willing for it to change. It doesn't really have a value apart from the value we assign to it. But facts are facts, and I'm definitely seeing you know that there's something else going on here for you emotionally that you do feel connected with in a deep, deep sense. In a like mature, deep sense. Again, this isn't just something shiny that caught your eye. This is something deeply that you're connected with. And that part of you that desires to connect emotionally, is like asking you to sort of take this route, but there can be another part of you that's like, but then I'd have to accept what's actually going on within my marriage or within my relationship or within fill in the blank. And that may be something that maybe you're not ready to come to terms with it. Because what I'm seeing is that for someone specifically, I'm like getting something about a marriage and it like not being what you thought it was going to be. But let's just speak in a more general sense with this. It may be very different than you thought it was going to be. What I'm seeing is that you may be in a space where you're really trying to be present to your emotions, but there's like a lot of disappointment that you feel that's connected with your marriage or with your relationship. Also, too, just the way that these cards are placed, where we have Nine of Cups here, Five of Cups here. So Nine of Cups is like, what is my heart like really drawing me towards? And then Five of Cups is this situation that I'm in was a real letdown. Just to sum it up, many other things. And then over here, we have a choice that needs to be made about like, which one do I want to choose? Do I want to stay in this emotionally disappointing situation that maybe I haven't even fully processed yet at this point, but I'm starting to really feel that this is not at all what I had in mind? Or do I stay in that, or do I go for the thing where I'm like, I feel like I have a better picture of what's going to fit for me, and it's this thing over here. So you like have this choice. And then on like the bottom of this little diamond that I'm seeing here, we have the King of Cups. So this is you trying to I'm hearing get right emotionally. It's also you like coming to terms with everything and figuring out how to not only manage your expectations, but also just be one with the emotions that you're feeling. The deal with the King of Cups is you being in a space where maybe you're holding both of these things to be true. And you do know that there's a choice to be made here. But right now may just be about coming to terms with everything. But you do have a choice, which can feel liberating and intimidating simultaneously. For some of you, you're dealing with an Aries. I'm looking at Jupiter too. I'm also seeing Taurus on the bottom of the deck. I'm seeing you trying to, it's like you've built things within the relationship. So this is probably something, you have Capricorn here as well. Maybe you feel a bit stubborn. Because I'm seeing you try to balance. It's like there's something very, very big that you're feeling that may feel very challenging to maneuver within right now. Like, how do I handle all of this like overwhelm of, it can be like sadness, looking back at things, like why didn't I make this choice over that choice? Like why did it lead in this direction? Like could I have seen this coming? You know, like all of that stuff. To have the Emperor pop out after that, it's like, what's the best choice that I can make given the situation that I'm in? So King of Cups is like, how do I get to a space or find myself in a space where I can be grounded through this experience and process everything? Five of Cups is like processing the changes emotionally and also just coming to terms with my expectation versus what's actually happened. And then having the Emperor, it's like, what's the best way for me to, now that I'm processing it, go forward from here? And also, like, what type of future do I want to build for myself? Like, do I want to stay within this situation and keep building the same building with this person? Or is this something where I don't feel like this is the best use of my time and my energy? And to have the Devil coming out too, there can be something that's being challenged here. Like maybe your reasons for staying or your reasons for going or your reasons for continuing or stopping. I'm not seeing this be an easy situation by any means. I will say this too, having the Emperor and the Devil, I feel like out of all of the cards that it would be best to show up as to maneuver with that dance of the Devil, it would be the Emperor, because the Emperor is you showing up in a way where you're making like disciplined moves, where you're really level-headed and thinking about what you're doing and how that's going to affect you later on, and really thinking about the future that you're building for yourself and how your decisions that you're making now will affect you later on. And so the Devil isn't as tempting when you're in the energy of the Emperor, because you're not fooled by something just in your immediate vicinity. You're like, if I do this now, like what's that going to look like for me later down the line? And maybe that's not the mindset that you were in before, but it's one that you've come into now. It's like one that you've developed into. It's one you've grown into. It's one that you've evolved into. But then, like, what does that mean for what's happening? I am seeing the Six of Wands, which is awesome to see, given your position in this, coming out after the Devil, because this would show that whatever this is that's been feeling very challenging for you, And the devil can be associated with fear as well, like fear of going out on your own, or fear of taking a chance or a leap of faith, or like what's going to happen if I do this, or like am I powerful enough to be able to like move out on my own, like whatever this is that was keeping you stuck within a situation. Having the Six of Wands is you overcoming this spiritual vice of yours. Because the devil is something that it's like energetically finds your weak spot that can be easily manipulated and penetrated, and is like, I have just the remedy. But it's something that it's not perennial by any means. It's like something that will fall away, and it's always fleeting too. So you're always playing this game of catch up when you're doing that dance. To have the Six of Wands, it shows you overcoming this. And how do you do that? By being strategic with what you're doing here, disciplined, and thinking about how what you're doing now is going to affect you later on down the line. And also making choices that you feel good about. That you feel like you're doing the right thing. Some of you, this is going to be happening later on down the line. I'm hearing when you're ready. Looks like there's a lot of transmuting currently that's happening, because I'm still seeing you process. I'm still seeing you processing sort of the reality of the relationship that you're in, which is something that you are still coming to terms with. Because there may have been a lot of expectations and a lot of projection and a lot of stuff that you were like trying to find within the relationship. And it's like you find that when you're looking at it, you're not seeing that reflected back at you. So this is like accepting a situation for what it is rather than what you want it to be. And I'm seeing that process is still happening. But because you're doing this work, I'm seeing that it's really helping to strengthen you energetically, because you're in a spot right now where you're being honest with yourself. Because if we were still ignoring this, it would just be the same thing over and over again. You don't need to be quick to make a plan. I'm seeing that sort of going to unfold as you process this further. Like the way that this is showing up, I'm seeing you don't have to go out of your way to be like, what's my next move? What's my next move? What's my next move? I'm seeing that if you're patient, it will just like unfold, and it will be a very natural process, like stepping stones in front of you where it's like very obvious what the next step is going to be. But you have to be patient with it to sort of work on that time frame if you're willing to. But it will feel a lot more like flow rather than forcing it. I'm hearing, and it will be laid out in front of you. Also, too, there is a deep, deep need for you to prioritize. I'm hearing that's going to be your best bet. I'm also hearing that's going to be your safest bet. But you want to be mindful of what it is that you're prioritizing. Because before, you may have been prioritizing something that was taking up more of your energy than you feel is appropriate. And now you may be getting to a point where you're like, you could have just been, the best way for me to describe this is that you could have been putting your energy into something and then been like, feeling helpless, like, why do I keep putting my energy into this? And then being like, I have no energy for like other things or for what I want to have energy for. And like even feeling resentful that you kept doing that to yourself, like putting your energy into something that's always going to just like take and take and take. But you may have continued prioritizing that. But now I'm seeing you be like, wait, I'm the one that gets to choose like where my feet go within this dance. But before, you may have not been seeing that. You may have been like, it's the devil doing it, you know, like it's just this situation that keeps like sucking me into it, and I have nothing to do with that, you know, I'm just stuck within this. But now, because of you just coming to terms with things. I'm seeing that you're going to be prioritizing differently. What I'm getting is that, and this, I feel like this is being said as well, because just to be mindful to not do it now. Make sure that you are not prioritizing things that aren't meant to be prioritized. Because I was seeing this Two of Pentacles wanting to come out upside down, and it's underneath the Devil, and this would mean prioritizing things that will just get you trapped again, that you'll just have to extricate yourself from again. And if you choose to do that, then you choose to do it. It's like just another situation that you're going to feel like cyclically stuck in, kind of like this. It's going to be a repeat. However, if you prioritize things that feel more aligned with what you're trying to align with and experience, it's going to be a different type of experience for you. And so really prioritizing the right stuff is key. And that means too that, let's just simplify this. If you are still showing up to things that you do not want to be showing up to, that's an example of this. It's like doing it because that's just always what we've done, or like knowing something's not resonating with you, but doing it anyway, you know, like forcing yourself to do these things that are against your nature, where it's like, you know that your energy is being called elsewhere, or at least that this thing isn't the right thing for you. So it's about making moves that are connected with that. Because you're either going to be, like, every move that you make as far as this is concerned is either going to be stepping back into something that will siphon your energy and your passion and your inspiration and deplete it on something that's not even worth it to you, versus you choosing to prioritize things that really matter to you, that you're like going to bed at the end of the day like, I'm so happy that I did that today, that I participated in that, and I just like feel this joy rising up within me. And so this is basically the epitome of what's going on here. So it's like choosing where you put your energy wisely, and knowing that that does very much have an impact on you. And it will have a revitalizing effect too. You'll find that the more you do things that you feel inspired to do, the more inspiration you have. It's just going to continue duplicating in that way. And when you do things that are draining, you feel like it just siphons your energy. You guys know what I'm talking about. So if you find yourself doing things and you're like, why am I so tired? Why am I so tired? Why am I so tired? Look at what you're participating in and ask yourself if you really want to be doing that. And also, is it necessary too? Or do some things need to be rearranged and reprioritized? And some of you may be looking at your situation and being like, I know that, but also I'm stuck and I can't do that. And that's something to tackle within your frame of mind and your thinking, because it may not be as you believe it to be, but it's going to take an expansion or a change or a pivot in how you're framing things. All right, and with that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.